Before you pay that speeding ticket or panic over that court date, pause. Because what you don't know about Georgia's speeding law, 40-6-181, could cost you your license, your money, and maybe even your freedom. And I'm about to break it all down in plain language, no legal degree required. So I read Georgia's speeding law, OCGA 40-6-181, and I gotta say, it's the only document I've ever seen that made my gas pedal feel guilty, like the law said 65, but my foot said, Jesus, take the wheel. Be right back.
Jill Scott.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm taking my freedom, pulling it off the shelf, putting it on my chain, ready from my neck. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my car, wherever I choose to go. Yeah, it will take me far. I'm holding on to my freedom, can't take it from me. I was born into it, it comes naturally. I'm strumming my own freedom, playing the God in me, representing His glory. I know He knows all of me. He knows all of me.
Your rights and risks under Georgia speeding law, 40-6-181. Welcome to the Unorganized Chaos Network. I am the evangelist of entertainment. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, turning on that notification button. Your rights and risks under Georgia speeding law, 40-6-181. To beat or reduce the impact of a Georgia uniform traffic citation, you need to build a clear, legal, and factual defense or mitigation strategy. Here's a breakdown of how to approach this step by step. I'm going to use for an example the pacing method just because it's a rarity. As far as the people who've been asking me, even though I haven't been policing in years, I still have people asking me about citations, but pacing, I probably had one or two people ask me about that. So pace is used as a method of speed detection. I'm also going to base this advice off of receiving a speeding ticket under Georgia law 40-6-181 with no accidents involved, no injuries involved, and no CDL. It's the regular driver. Well, we're all more than regular, but just a normal driver who happens to have gotten caught speeding. Okay, so if they're using pacing as a method of detecting your speed. Pacing means that the officer follow you and match your speed to estimate your speed. So if that's the case, for a legal defense option, you can ask how far behind were they when they were pacing. Was their speedometer calibrated, and was it documented? Was there a clear line of sight? After that, you also consider filing a motion to compel discovery, and you can request calibration records, dash cam footage, officer training logs on pacing techniques. You can request for the documentation under Georgia courts. Certification number OCGA 40-14-4 and 40-14-5. If the officer is not radar certified or didn't visually verify your speed before pacing, it weakens their case. And if their case is weakened, the stronger your case is. For another defense tactic, you can make an argument about, is this a speed trap, a targeted defense? Did this happen in a known high ticket area? Investigate. Have there been prior complaints about this area being used improperly for quotas or targeting out of town drivers? Also, you can argue any medical or emergency circumstance if that is applicable, and you must have documentation and do not lie in court. If there was a medical emergency or mechanical failure, just raise that issue up in court with documentation. You can also negotiate a plea deal. Let's say you're doing 85 and a 65, that's 20 miles per hour over the limit. You can ask to speak to the solicitor before court and ask if they'll reduce the charges. Let you take defensive driving school for a reduced charge. Offer a no contest plea for a non-reportable offense or 0-point violation. Here's also some mitigation strategy. If you want to use a mitigation strategy, get a certified defensive driving course certificate before your court date. We want to be proactive, not reactive. So get a certified defensive driving course certificate before your court date. Bring proof of your clean driving history. Yeah, preferably you have that clean driving history. And you never know, some people I've met literally like, man, I had a ticket 20,000 years ago, that's still on my drive. Like, and then when they check their driving history, like, oh, it ain't on there no more. You never know. Just bring proof of the clean driving history. Or if you have a hardship and you need your license for medical or caregiving or work, bring proof of that also. And when you come to court, dress professionally, be respectful, and express sincere concern about safety and personal accountability. When you come to court, your appearance speaks before you open your mouth. How you look, how you dress. Action speaks louder than words. Sometimes the judge can't hear the words that are coming out of your mouth because of what you have on or what you don't have on. Judges are people too. They're good at their jobs, but sometimes, you can wear something that could be inappropriate or offensive, or we don't want to see the crack in your behind, or just dress professionally. Look up what professionally dressed means. Do that. Okay? And the reason why you want to mitigate or try your best to get out of a speeding ticket is because of your insurance. If you get convicted of speeding, the conviction can spike rates or result in your insurance literally dropping your coverage. And believe it or not, I've met people who didn't even know their insurance dropped their coverage until they got pulled over for speeding again. Insurance covers if they find out that you have gotten a speeding ticket or a super speed, I believe. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think super speeder is 40 miles per hour over the speed limit. That's what I believe. Okay, so if you have to go to court, arrive early, check in with the solicitor, request a bench trial if you want to, argue it formally, and the solicitor won't work with you. Okay? And please be nice. And I'm going to read a script to you that I think is very professional when you get in front of the court. You can edit the script however you see fit. But this is one that I just found online, the script for court to argue against a speeding citation. Your Honor, I take this very seriously. I understand the gravity of this offense and have already taken a defensive driving course to educate myself. That's being proactive, okay? I understand the gravity of this offense and have already taken a defensive driving course to educate myself. I'm asking for consideration for a reduced charge or dismissal in exchange for additional safety courses or community service. And you can do your community service also before you come to court, being proactive. At a local church, a local food bank, a local library, any nonprofit, just call them or go. You can Google nonprofits and just ask to come in and volunteer. Ask them to write you a letter on a letterhead. And I'm not saying this will get you out of the ticket. I'm just giving you tips and tools and tricks to use that could possibly, maybe, hopefully help you. Okay, and where was I at? I'm asking for consideration for a reduced charge or dismissal in exchange for additional safety courses or community service. I'm also willing to pay any reasonable fines. Back to community service. Some courts, judges, the community service have to be done in the county or the city where the ticket was issued to you at. Now, some will allow you to do the community service anywhere. So just call the court clerk and ask them, hey, I want to do community service before my court date. Is the judge in favor of it being inside the city, or can I do it anywhere? Or do they have any recommendations as far as community service? Okay, back to the script. I'm asking for consideration for a reduced charge or dismissal in exchange for additional safety courses or community service. I'm also willing to pay any reasonable fines. I respectfully request that my license not be suspended due to my responsibilities and need for transportation. Okay, so that's what you would say if you were in court. That's an example of something you could say if you was in court. But also enroll in and complete. I've literally seen people come to court and say, I've enrolled into a defensive driving course, but I have not started it or finished it or completed it yet. That just defeats your purpose. Enroll in and complete a defense driving course, DDS certified. Again, gather proof of your clean record. Prepare a mitigation letter if you have financial or health hardship. Practice your explanation if appearing before a judge. Arrive early and be respectful to court staff and a solicitor. Please be respectful to the court staff, because while the judge is in her chambers and the staff is out in the court, most of the time the court clerk, the bailiff, the solicitor have access to the judge before the judge even step out. And if you being an a-hole to them before the judge come out, the only thing that court clerk gotta go do is go in there and say, Your Honor, Mr. Such and Such is out here being an a-hole. And so when the judges are fair and polite and stuff, but judges are people too. And if they have already received a bad reputation about you before they even see you, that's not going to help you at all. So please just be respectful to the court staff and solicitor. Okay, here's another option: motion to compel discovery. So if you want to write a motion to compel discovery, which means to gather documentation or videos or audios. Okay, here's an example. Motion to compel discovery comes now the defendant name in the above styled action and respectfully request this honorable court to compel discovery from the prosecution in the interest of fairness, transparency, and due process, pursuant to Rule 7.1 of the Uniform Rules for Municipal Courts and in accordance with OCGA 17-16-23 and 17-16-4, the defendant requests the following items to be produced prior to trial: a copy of the officer's dash cam or body cam footage related to this citation, a copy of the officer's certification for pacing and/or radar speed detection. The officer's daily calibration log for the radar or patrol vehicle speedometer. Any written incident or field notes taken by the officer on the date of citation. The official calibration certification for the patrol vehicle speed detection equipment. Any and all documentation of the officer's training and speed enforcement and use of pacing techniques. Okay, and this information is essential for the defendant's ability to prepare an adequate defense. Denial of this request may result in a violation of the defendant's due process rights under the Georgia Constitution and the United States Constitution. Wherefore, the defendant respectfully requests that the court grant this motion to compel discovery and order the state to provide the aforementioned documents and recordings in a timely manner. Okay, so that's another letter you can write. Another one is a mitigation letter. And you can write this to the Honorable George, reference your citation number, reference your court appearance date. Dear Honorable Judge, my name is Nate, and I am writing to express my sincere remorse regarding the citation I received for speeding. I want to acknowledge the seriousness of this violation and assure the court that this is not a reflection of my character or values. I have taken full responsibility for this situation by enrolling in and completing a certified defensive driving course to better understand the risks associated with high-speed driving. I am committed to making better decisions behind the wheel going forward. I also respectfully ask the court to consider the following mitigating circumstances. I have no prior criminal or serious traffic record. I am currently, now even if you do have a prior criminal and serious traffic record, say that. More than likely the judge and them already know. Seriously, they already know. Just be like, I know I've done this several times before. I've gotten 2 or 3 speeding tickets, or I've been arrested for such and such. But Your Honor, and explain to them how, okay, this time is different. Or say, what example I can use? It's going to be harder to defend yourself if you keep having a track record of continuously disobeying the law. But let's say some significant changes in some people's lives can make an impact on their lives that can prove that they have made a serious change. A new religion, getting married, having a child, finishing college, getting a degree, getting a job that requires them not to get any more traffic citations. Anything that you can bring documentation and say, Your Honor, I know I've done all of this in the past, but from this time forward, I am more than less likely to ever do this again, because I don't want to risk losing my job or my family or my college education or my scholarship. Okay? Or you can say, I'm currently experiencing financial hardship and am unable to afford an attorney. Didn't have assistance for that at court. I am actively working to regain stability in my life following medical and mental health challenges. Documentation beats conversation. Everything I'm saying, please bring documentation. My ability to maintain my driving privileges is critical to assessing necessary care and family responsibilities. I kindly request the court's consideration for a reduction in the charge or points, if possible. I am willing to comply with any additional requirements, including community service or extended driving courses. Thank you for your time and for considering my request with humility and gratitude. And then your name. Now, when you're in court, in front of the judge, it is always Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. my name is named. First, I want to say that I take full responsibility for the charge against me, and I deeply regret the speed I was traveling. I have taken this seriously and completed a defensive driving course on my own initiative before today's hearing. I've also reviewed safe driving practices and have not received any other violations. I understand how dangerous that speed was, and I can assure the court that it will never happen again. I am respectfully asking for a chance to avoid a license suspension. If the court is willing to consider a reduced charge or alternative penalty like driving school or community service, I am currently facing financial and personal challenges, and maintaining my ability to drive is essential for me to continue accessing treatment and supporting my family. I'm asking for grace today, not because I take the law lightly, but because I am committed to doing better from this moment forward. I am informed, I am empowered, and I have the right to protect myself under the law. I will not be now. I'm asking for grace today, not because I take the law lightly, but because I am committed to doing better from this moment forward. Okay, that was the end of the court script if you're going to court. I took the time to write an affirmation. I believe in affirmations. I do meditation affirmations every day. So this is an affirmation that I wrote. If you happen to have to go to court, just say this, affirm this as many times if you can. Just speak it till you believe it, till you feel it and you receive it. I am informed, I am empowered, and I have the right to protect myself under the law. I will not be intimidated by citations or courtrooms, because knowledge is my defense and confidence is my co-pilot. Okay, now go with me in the book, turn with your Bibles, if you will, to Hosea 4:6, where you will find these words. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Just because you got a ticket doesn't mean you lost your rights. Understanding the law is how you protect yourself and your future. So let's get into it. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. That's from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite books. But let me be real with you. When you're driving 85 and 65, the only thing conspiring is that blue light behind you, and a 5 that's about to hit like prophecy. So let's talk about protecting your rights, not just chasing your dreams. Okay. It felt like I was in Set It Off, but instead of robbing banks, I was just robbing myself of gas and good sense, flying down I-75 at 85. And trust me, the law don't play Queen Latifah's speed. Okay, so let's break down what Georgia law really means, because we don't want your next ride to turn into a sequel. So here's my song reference. I was cruising like Jill Scott said, getting in the way of what I'm feeling. Except what I was feeling was 85 and a 65, and what got in the way was Georgia law and flashing lights. And let's talk about what that ticket really means and how to protect yourself legally and spiritually. You cannot protect what you do not understand. Knowledge of the law is the first step toward freedom. And that's from Angela Rye. She's a political commentator and an attorney. Okay, here's a prayer for wisdom, protection, and justice. Dear God, I'm sorry, I need a water break. Get your tongue, it's good for you. Dear God, in this moment I come before you seeking clarity, courage, and covering. I ask for your wisdom to guide me as I navigate the laws of this land. Help me to understand not just the rules written in code, but the purpose behind them, to preserve life, to protect community, and to grow in responsibility. Lord, I know that mistakes do not define me. I ask for your mercy where I've fallen short, and I thank you for grace that shows up even when the lights behind me flash red and blue. Protect my mind from fear, my spirit from shame, and my future from unjust consequences. God, you said in your word, justice will dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness abide in the fruitful field. Let justice dwell with me now. Let the courtroom be fair. Let the truth speak louder than assumptions. And may I leave this process not just forgiven, but transformed, informed, and empowered. In your holy name I pray. Amen. So what do you really lose when you just paid a ticket? If you don't know the law, you don't know your power. And that's on period. Excuse me. So here's 3 things that I want to tell you about today. How Georgia speeding law works against you if you stay silent. What you can do right now to beat, reduce, or reframe a speeding charge. How to shift from target to tactician using your rights, records, and readiness. Let me take you to I-75 Georgia around 6:15 a.m. Sis got gospel humming low, drinking her good water, hands gripped at 10 and 2. Speed limit says 65. Her thoughts say rush or get fired. She hits 85. Blue lights flash, ticket printed, her face blank, her heart not even racing. She already know the system ain't designed for her to win. But this time she finds emotion, cites lack of discovery, officer can't prove proper calibration, boom, case drop. Not luck, but strategy. You can do the same. The law ain't neutral, it's a net. Georgia Code Section 40-6, that's 181, punishes speeds based on zones. 10 miles per hour over, a minor defense. 35 miles over, super speeder. Earlier I said I think it was 40, so it's 35. You're not just paying a fine, you're risking license suspension, insurance hikes, and in some counties, jail time. According to Georgia DDS, over 16,000 super speeder notices were sent in 2023. That's not traffic enforcement, that's revenue collection. Silence is surrender. Paying a ticket is an admission of guilt. Your task is to interrogate every step. Was the patient certified? Radar calibrated? Was there a dash cam? If not, file a motion to compel discovery. Use OCGA 17-16-23. Don't ask if you should fight. Ask how to fight. You must defend your record. That driving record follows you like a shadow. It's tied to your job applications, insurance premiums, even custody cases. You must think step by step. Document everything. Documentation beats conversation. Request a reduction. If it's your first offense, request no low contingent. If you're over 25 with a clean record, ask for a traffic school. Now, it's easier to pay it and move on. I believe that's false. You don't move on. It moves with you. One conviction can spike your insurance 15 to 30% for 3 years. That's not just a bill. That's economic warfare. Fighting is too complicated. That's why they win. You don't need to be an attorney. You need to be attentive. Court clerks, public defenders, and online forms are tools. Use them. Your taxes are paying for them anyway. What if I lose? If you fight, you still gain. You learn the system. You speak your truth on record. You keep the court from thinking you are just another guilty body to process. So here's some possible solutions. Do file a motion for discovery. Do request court records and officer certifications. Do enroll in a DDS-approved defensive driving course. Do track your insurance quotes after any ticket. Do not assume guilt just because an officer handed you a ticket. Okay? Now pull your MVR, that's your motor vehicle record. Review it like it's your credit score. Highlight infractions. Prepare your defense. Talk to the court clerk. Don't wait for the court to respect you. Demand it with paper in hand and facts in your pocket. Remember that question we opened with. What do you really lose when you just pay the ticket? The answer is your power. But now you know how to keep it. You'll walk away with the tools to fight back, the courage to speak up, and the strategy to stop being prey and start being prepared. Now, if you've ever been pulled over or fined under OCGA 40-6-181, don't just pay and walk away. Take control of your future. Here's your next move. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated with clear, no fluff guides on navigating Georgia traffic laws. Share this video with friends, family, or neighbors because one ticket can cost more than you think. Drop a comment with your questions or ticket story. I read every word and I help you strategize your best next steps because knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Arm yourself today before that next blue light ever appears. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for turning on that notification button. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you for subscribing. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Do me a favor, please show this to at least 4 different people. You're more than likely to be like the 4 people you hang around the most. Thank you so much for subscribing. If our hearts and minds are clear, go govern yourselves accordingly.
Know it, so I might as well just go ahead and show it. Living my life like it's important, like it matters. Anybody know what I'm talking about in here? Living my life, living my life, living my life right. Hey, living my life like it's golden, golden. Like it really matters. Living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden.